He came home, and it took 5 months of daily care for him to recuperate. He had a broken neck in 2 places. He had 8 broken ribs, a right broken scapula. He had brain injury, brain trauma, and a lot of contusions and abrasions, and a lot of internal bruising, from being hit. That was hard. 5 months. I had to call my job after all the time I had been off for that lawsuit and my mother dying. A year had not even passed. 6 months had not even passed. And I was taking care of something else. That was hard. That was hard. But you know what? Sometimes you have to do a deep dive and you have to find your strength. And you have to go way beyond any limit that you thought you had. And you can do it. I did it. If I could do it, you can do it. You can do it. Take a deep breath, focus, find your inner grit and determination, find that rose, that stem, those thorns, your determination that we talked about in a training video. Find them. You're going to need them. Incorporate them. Trust them. Use them. You'll make it. You will. You might not think that you will, but you will. The sun comes up another day. You might not see it. And there is joy and there is laughter. And you might think, what? Joy and laughter? I didn't think there would be either. It's taken 6 years. 6 years of me working through this to even consider having joy and laughter. Our dog, our precious boy, he was beautiful. He was a Great Dane Lab mix. He was fawn-colored. Everybody in our neighborhood loved Toby. Everybody. Our family, everybody loved Toby, and Toby loved everybody. He was graceful, beautiful. He was just the most loving dog. Everybody loved him so much and loved my husband so much in this neighborhood that they called him the mayor of this neighborhood, because he would walk Charlie every morning for an hour and a half and every evening for an hour and a half. That's 3 hours a day that dog got of walking. He met everybody in this neighborhood. They all stopped and talked. They pet him, play with him, talk to my husband. My husband's not nosy. It's not why he knew everything that was going on in this neighborhood. It's because everybody came out to talk. Everybody loved my husband and loved Toby. My husband, and no kidding, I can't overestimate, exaggerate this comment. He is the finest, most decent human being I've ever known in my life. Of anybody. Well, Toby came home from the hospital, and because his injuries were so severe, he was never able to walk the same again. And so I had to get a towel and kind of lift him up by his torso and kind of lift him up, so he could walk. Well, I couldn't figure out how to get him into the backyard because he weighed 75 pounds, 80 pounds. So I was actually lifting him up from his front and back and holding him like that to get him down the stairs, which was a struggle for me. I mean, he was 75, 80 pounds. Our neighbor found out that I was doing that after a couple of days, and the next day they were here. They didn't talk to me, they didn't ask me. They were here the next day with a load of wood and 2 guys that were engineers, and they built a ramp onto the back of our back deck to be able to go down at a slant with stair rails so I could get Toby down and get him back up for him to be able to use the restroom. I didn't know anybody could be that kind. I'm used to giving, and I find great joy in giving, but it's kind of hard for me to receive sometimes, and that was tremendous. That was a generous gift. Well, as my husband was healing and we were dealing with the insurance and everything that was going on, we learned that the driver of the car was denying responsibility. boy had hit my husband and our precious dog from behind. They never saw it. And fortunately, our beautiful, effervescent cork bottle of a granddaughter, who was 8 at the time, was not hit by a car. But you know what? She saw the whole thing. No 8-year-old should ever have to experience that. Not ever. Because she gets to think about that for the rest of her life, and she still thinks about it. That's hard. But she's done well. We've all talked about it. We've all made sure that she is, mentally, she is good. And she is now. But it took some time. I cannot tell you the effect that learning that that young man was taking no responsibility and his parents were standing behind him had on me. It was not good. That was hard. It was very hard. They live 2 doors down from us. They still live 2 doors down from us. And they've never apologized. That's hard too. Well, I had to file another lawsuit. This is how many lawsuits I filed in my whole life, too. And it wasn't until my mother and this one. I'd never filed a lawsuit before, nor did I want to, but I had to. I didn't have a choice. In another video, I've talked to you about facing your fears and leaning in, and how a ship, whenever it sees a storm coming, it can't turn around, and it can't go around it. The only thing a boat can do is go straight into it to survive. It's the only choice they have, and hope that they will survive. Storms can be pretty brutal. I had to face a storm, and I had to go straight into it for a second time in less than 2 years. Not good. I hadn't even begun to grieve that my mother was gone, or the way that she had gone, or the fact that I had to wait a year to bury her. That was hard. That lawsuit took a year. Depositions, interrogatories. It was ridiculous. It was an absolutely a ridiculous fiasco. I learned a lot about patience and diving deep. I mean deep, to find strength. It was there. I didn't know it was there. I didn't know that I could be that strong. I am. I'm really strong. And I'm a woman. So women, when somebody tells you that you can't be strong because you're a woman, or you feel like you can't be strong because you don't have enough self-confidence, I'm here to tell you, you need to find it. Dig deep. It's there. I've talked about this before. There's a thread here, a rope here, a string there. There are books. There are focus groups. Find one. Find your inner strength. It's there. Dig deep if you have to. Baby steps. Maybe one little success will get you a little bit closer to where you need to be. You don't have to get from here to there at one time. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one small step to get to your destination. But you'll make it. If you just plod through it all along, you'll get there. You will get there. That's how I'm looking at the AT. Mentally. Is it going to be hard? I know it's going to be hard. I don't think I really realize personally how hard it's going to be because I haven't done it yet. But mentally, I'm ready. I'm ready. I know it's going to be hard. And okay, next. Okay, I did one mountain. There's another hard one coming. Next. What's next? I'm ready. You be ready. That's how you need to look at things. You be ready too. Lawsuit took a year. My husband has very slowly recovered. And he's back to 80% of what he was before he was hit by the car. The other 20% is never going to be realized again. And that's because when you have brain injury, sometimes it is impossible to return back to what you were before you were injured. That's been hard. It's been very hard for him, which means it's been very hard for me, because it hurts me for him, and it hurts me because I can't do anything to make it better for him as much as I want to. As much as your family may want to help you get over the AT, and as much as a friend may want to help you get over the AT, you know something that you need to face on the AT, the only person that can really get you over that challenge is you. That's it. Just you. You. Encouragement always helps. Inspiration helps. But your inner determination and your grit are what are going to make the difference mentally. That's what's going to make the difference. It's going to make a difference for me. Now I want to get back to that box. That box I talked about was up in the top of my parents' closet that had dust on it. I just didn't have the bandwidth to look at it, and for months. It took me months, almost a year, to look at that. Maybe not a year. It was like 9 months. One weekend I decided I'm going to open that box, and I'm going to see what's in there. And I'm just going to sit on my office floor, and I'm going to, on a quiet day, nobody's around, I'm not distracted, I'm going to see what this is all about. I opened it up, and there were photos in there, some of which I had seen before and some that I had not. And the ones that I had not seen were interesting. And I got to this one photo, and I looked at it and I thought, And I looked at the date on it, but what really caught my eye was my mom. It was a picture of my mom, and she was tiny. She was like this big. She was like a little tiny string bean. She probably didn't weigh 95 pounds. She was tiny. I wish I'd ever been that tiny, but she was tiny. Well, I put that picture to the side because, I was going through other things, and I got to a legal document that was on. It was legal length, not letter size. For those of you that are older, you'll remember this. And it was on onion skin paper. And I was reading it, and I found out that they were divorce papers, that my father had been married to another woman. Now, I was over 55. I think it was 57 when I found this box of information. I did not know he had been married before. And when I read why they got divorced, it was a little problematic. And I wondered, why didn't he tell me he was married before? Well, because I was fairly close to my dad. But he didn't. And he had his reasons. And I just thought, bless him, he's gone now. I can't talk to him about this, and I'm just not going to get upset about this. This was something that he thought was either such a big deal or so private he just could not talk to me, and that's okay. That picture kept bothering me. And I don't know why, but it just kept bothering me.